This mysterious sighting comes from the TikTok account Bigfoot I Am Real and shows footage from a hunting camera deep in the wilderness of Ontario, Canada. The clip is very short, but within it, a large, hairy figure can be seen partially hidden behind the trees. Something is clearly there, but what exactly is open to interpretation? Many viewers quickly labeled it a genuine Bigfoot sighting, while others remained skeptical, suggesting it could simply be a large bear rubbing against or moving near the trees. Unfortunately, the footage is too brief to make a clear identification, leaving the question unanswered. So what do you think was captured on this Canadian trail cam? While mainstream researchers view Bigfoot as a flesh and blood creature, a small group of enthusiasts believe it may be something more unusual, or even supernatural. One YouTuber who has explored and supported this controversial idea is wildlife photographer Angie Saji. Since 2008, she has kept a detailed diary of alleged Sasquatch activity on her property, though she only shares select clips she believes are authentic. The most unusual of these recordings was captured on January 15, 2016, when Angie was outside walking with her phone. Interestingly, this is not the only clip that appears to show a Sasquatch moving at extraordinary speed, adding yet another layer of mystery to an already puzzling phenomenon.
Taking a look at another reported sighting, this one surfaced online on September 21st, 2024. According to the caption, a woman hiking in Northern California originally captured this image on New Year's Day back in 2020. The report, later highlighted by Boise Bigfoot, claims she encountered a tall, hairy figure standing over a ridgeline while moving along a remote mountainous trail. And this is where things start to become more interesting. Analysts reviewed the terrain and compared the scale of the figure against the surrounding landscape, estimating its height to be around 7 to 8 feet tall. Now when you zoom into the image, even though it's extremely blurry, some details still stand out. A cone-shaped head, a lighter colored facial area, large eyes, and a noticeable nose structure. Skeptics immediately suggest it could be a bear. And to be fair, that is the most logical explanation at first glance. But when you compare the body structure more closely, the theory starts to weaken. The shoulders appear unusually broad. The posture looks more upright than expected. And the head shape doesn't fully match any known bear species. Bears typically have rounder skulls and a bulkier, forward-leaning frame. This figure looks different, and that is why some researchers believe it may not be a bear at all. Some suggest it could be a dogman-type encounter, while others lean toward Bigfoot, since both are often described with similar traits. But the real question is simple. If it is not a bear, then what exactly is standing on that ridge? Dogman, Bigfoot, or something else entirely? Before this video spread online, most people believed Bigfoot sightings only happened in North America. But in 2011, a clip recorded deep inside the forest of Ukraine completely changed that conversation. The footage shows a massive ape-like figure walking upright between the trees with slow, controlled movements. And honestly, this is where the clip starts becoming unsettling, because the longer you watch it, the less it moves like a normal animal. Skeptics claimed it was just a bear standing on its hind legs. But look closely at the arm swing. Look at the stride length. And notice how smoothly it keeps walking upright without losing balance. Bears can stand temporarily, but they do not move through forests like this with human-like rhythm. And that's exactly why this footage terrified so many people online. Because if this isn't a bear, then what exactly are we looking at? And even more disturbing, this wasn't recorded anywhere near North America. October 2012, Provo Canyon, Utah. 4 friends headed deep into one of the most isolated wilderness areas in the American West. They brought a tent, a camera, and absolutely no idea what was waiting for them in the trees. At first they thought it was a bear, a massive dark figure moving near the tree line. One of them lifted the camera and started recording. Then it stood up, not with the awkward movement of an animal losing balance, but slowly, deliberately, like something fully comfortable standing on 2 legs. The shoulders appeared impossibly wide. The arms hung low at its sides. And then, it turned toward them. According to the group, that was the moment panic set in. They dropped everything. The tent, their supplies, even food, and they ran back to the car. The footage was uploaded online in October 2012 under the account Beard Card, quickly gaining millions of views. Wildlife specialists reviewed the movement. Costume designers examined the proportions. Skeptics attempted to recreate the figure using suits available at the time. None of them could fully explain what appeared in the canyon that day. And more than a decade later, the Provo Canyon footage still remains one of the most debated pieces of Bigfoot evidence ever recorded.
Hide and seek. Another clip comes from West Central Alberta, Canada, highlighted on January 17, 2024, where a trail camera originally set up to study wolverines ended up capturing something completely unexpected. The footage begins with a large buck cautiously peeking out from behind a tree. Something else was hidden just out of sight on the opposite side. At first the figure remained perfectly still, blending into the environment so well it was almost invisible, but once the deer moved off, it shifted, revealing a massive, dark, fur-covered form, its size immediately raising questions, and when compared to the buck, an animal that typically stands around 3 feet tall, the difference was striking. Even from slightly lower ground, the creature's head extended noticeably higher than the deer's despite appearing crouched, suggesting that if it stood fully upright, it could reach an estimated height of 7 to 8 feet, a scale often linked to sightings of Bigfoot, making the footage feel especially unsettling. However, while the size and behavior are intriguing, the lack of clear movement detail and limited angle leaves room for doubt, so I'd rate this clip a solid 7 out of 10.
A trail camera just captured 2 Bigfoot together. Not 1, 2. And what it recorded was not a single creature caught clearly on camera, but an entire family. 2 forests, hundreds of miles apart, accidentally recorded the same scene. A Bigfoot leading its young, appearing right before dawn, as if following some secret route. The first clip was triggered at 3 a.m. in a remote forest with no phone signal at all. When the camera turned on, a massive black Bigfoot stepped into frame. It walked like a person, but its movement was so smooth and so silent that it felt like something far more ancient. Beside it was a baby Bigfoot trying to keep up, stumbling, but giving everything it had. The moment that gives everyone chills is when the adult Bigfoot suddenly stops, turns its head, and stares directly into the camera, as if realizing someone is watching. Then it gently nudges the little one, and both vanish into the darkness. The second clip was recorded at 4 a.m. in a different forest under similar conditions. This Bigfoot had dark brown fur and was leading 2 young ones. All 3 moved in a straight line, slowly, in perfect order, almost identical to the first family. When it detected the camera, the adult repeated the same behavior, stopping, observing, then guiding its young behind 3 large trees. 2 distant locations, 2 different times, yet the same behavior down to the smallest detail. This raises a disturbing question. If Bigfoot is not roaming alone, but moving in groups, what could be threatening them from deep within these forests? And why are they only moving before dawn? Terror in Provo Canyon. Utah's Wasatch Range is known for cougar encounters, not primates. That's what made the footage captured by hikers Samantha and Austin Craig in October 2012 so extraordinary. Their DSLR initially tracked autumn foliage. Then it zoomed in on what they presumed was a black bear ripping bark from a tree. The animal rose to full height, turned its torso, and revealed arms hanging past the knee. Panic erupted. The group sprinted downhill. But those crucial 33 seconds handed analysts something extraordinary. A University of Utah lab stabilized the clip and overlaid a 6-foot mannequin outline for comparison. The subject towered another 20% above it. The sun angle placed the encounter at 11 in the morning, providing clean, direct light that revealed auburn streaks running through the fur and mottled skin texture around the elbow, details that costume fabric simply cannot fake. The creature's pivot told its own story. It used a hip swivel rather than the shoulder twist humans rely on when surprised. Researchers noted this suggests fundamentally different spinal mechanics, not a person reacting, but something built differently at the core. Too close to it, huh? How cool, though. Let's go. Skeptics proposed a hoaxer in a ghillie suit. The Rocky Mountain Sasquatch organization tested that theory directly. A human actor of equal size could not descend the same slope without sliding on the loose scree. The terrain alone made the hoax scenario physically implausible. The raw terror in Samantha's shaky audio remains one of the most unscripted reactions ever captured in cryptid footage history. The clip is currently under peer review by behavioral analysts. Our story begins on July 4th, 2011, near Sherman Pass Road in Washington. A solo hiker was enjoying the holiday week, casually filming the forest around him, when something unexpected stepped into view. What he captured would later be dubbed the Independence Day Bigfoot Run, and it remains one of the most analyzed pieces of footage in cryptozoology. The video shows a tall, dark figure walking calmly into an open clearing in broad daylight. But this wasn't just a simple sighting. The creature briefly paused, then did something that stunned every researcher who watched it. It scooped up a smaller, reddish figure, possibly a juvenile, and walked behind a boulder. The implications were staggering. This wasn't just footage of an adult Bigfoot. It was potentially the first visual evidence of family groups. What made this footage particularly compelling was the lighting. Shot in full daylight at over 9,000 feet above sea level, every movement was crystal clear. You could actually see clumps of hair shifting as the creature walked. Colorado State University later examined the clip and confirmed it showed no signs of digital editing or visual effects. The audio told its own story. The recording captured low, rhythmic breathing and a strange bark that wildlife experts couldn't match to any known animal in the region. Frame-by-frame analysis revealed a shoulder span that didn't match human proportions, and the natural gait ruled out anyone moving in a bulky costume. The location itself worked against every hoax theory. At 9,000 feet, the thin air and punishing terrain make an elaborate prank nearly impossible to pull off. No camera crew, no support team, just open mountain wilderness and whatever stepped into that clearing. This video continues to circulate in research circles as potentially the most compelling outdoor Bigfoot footage ever recorded. Ohio, especially the area covered by Rocky Mountain Sasquatch, has quietly become one of the most active regions for Bigfoot reports outside the Pacific Northwest. Sightings, photos, trail cam captures, and even recorded vocalizations have all come out of this region, suggesting something may be moving through these woods more often than people realize. One particular case comes from a family living on a farm in Minerva, Ohio. What started as a simple trail camera capture quickly turned into something they couldn't explain. The image shows a large, dark figure, humanoid in shape, with proportions that don't quite match any known animal in the area. The person who captured it admitted they had no idea what they were looking at, but it didn't feel normal. Josh, the man behind the report, and shared that he and his family had actually seen the same figure twice before. Both times, it appeared near a fence line, coming from the direction of a pile of dead chickens on a nearby farm. The way it moved stood out immediately. It covered nearly 300 yards at a speed that didn't make sense, especially for something that size. At first, he didn't take it seriously. When his kids told him they had seen something, he brushed it off. But that changed the day he and a neighboring farmer saw it for themselves, in broad daylight. According to Josh, the figure was completely dark, solid black, and moved in a way that felt unnatural, almost robotic. He couldn't make out details like eyes or hair, but the size was undeniable. At 6 feet tall and around 300 pounds himself, he said the figure was clearly bigger, taller, heavier. What makes the encounter even stranger is his experience. He regularly hunts coyotes in that same area using thermal equipment, scanning the land at night, and yet he had never seen anything like this before. Not once. But on that day, there was no doubt in his mind. And what he's hearing now sounds almost identical to something he remembers from years earlier, back in the early 90s, a sound that didn't resemble a dog or anything he could identify.
What I'm recording right now sounds very similar 91 or 92. Does not sound like a dog at all.